What is going on, guys? Hope you're all doing well out there. So as promised, I wanted to come and talk to you all about self-confidence today. So I'm going to give it a few minutes just to see who's going to be turning up on today's live training. And we're going to be getting into the meat and pudding, as they say, in a few minutes here. Just want to see who's going to be showing up. If you're watching this live, smash that like button, comment below, let me know how your day has been and where you are watching from. I look forward to seeing your comments, and I will try to make sure that I stay up to date with you guys and what you're commenting on this live feed. As I've already said, I've got this streaming in multiple different places, so if I don't get back to your comments straight away, then I do apologize. So yeah, we're just going to get going in about 30 seconds. I'll be introducing the topic, which is self-confidence, for those of you that are just joining right now. And yeah, this should be quite a valuable training for you all. So yeah, for those of you that are watching, smash that like button, comment down below, let me know where you're watching from. And I am just about to get going just right now. Okay, guys, cool. So let's do it. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Strong Minded Podcast. I'm your host, Jodine Bryson. In today's episode, I've got something slightly different for you. And I'm going to be discussing self-confidence. I'm going to give you a confidence training based on the 4 pillars of core confidence, which is my ebook, which is now available on my website at www.strongmindedcoaching.com. Obviously, normally with my Strong Minded podcast, I take on a guest. I don't have a guest for you today, guys, but I can promise you that the stuff that I'm going to be sharing in today's training is going to be very valuable for you. For those of you that are listening to this podcast on Spotify, I hope you're all doing well out there. I'm also streaming this on Facebook on my Strong Minded Brotherhood community. So welcome, brothers. Hope you're all doing well out there, as well as on my Facebook profile and my Strong Minded Coaching YouTube channel. So for those of you that are on my YouTube or on my Facebook, give this video a big like, comment down below, let me know how you are. I really hope you're all doing well out there. And yeah, let's get started. So I think the place that I'd like to start is by giving you a little bit of background and telling you a little bit about who I am. So my name is Jodine Bryson. I am a confidence coach and a personal trainer. I've been in business for about 5 years now. And in that time, I've worked a lot on my own personal development. I've worked on my strengths, on my flaws, on my views, on my opinions, on my beliefs, on my values, anything that to do with personal development, fitness, working on my habits, all of this stuff that I have spent a great deal of time working on. And I've brought this all together to build the foundation of what I'm bringing with you for you all today, which is core confidence. Okay, so the thing about core confidence is that it's something that's happening inside of us. So the reason that I want to talk about core confidence specifically, and not just confidence in general, is because for a long time in my life, I was wearing a mask. I was wearing the mask of the perfectionist. I was wearing the mask of the nice guy. And although, I developed some confidence, I was confident socially. I was very good at sport. I got more into fitness and building my physique. I developed my business. I did very well academically. All of this stuff was stuff that I created on the outside of myself. Yet when it came down to it, I was still insecure. I was still unconfident, and a lot. Some of that is still true of today. I still have a lot of stuff that I need to work on and work through. But so the reason that I wanted to jump on today's live video, this live training, and teach you guys on how to improve your confidence is because it's had such a transformational impact on my own life. Confidence is such an important thing to have in life. And one of the most transformational books that I've read is the Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And he talks about confidence as being made up of 2 different things. So on one hand, you have competence. And let me just talk to you a little bit about what competence is, because this is what most people see as being confidence. And competence basically means it's about your skills, how skilled you are. So you might be skilled in social situations. You might be a good communicator. You might be good at making small talk, all of this other stuff, which means that you can make friendships, make connections very easily. And you come across as being very socially confident. Another example might be in the gym. If you go to the gym often, you build your skill up of knowing what you're doing inside of the gym, developing good technique, good form, and slowly but surely you increase your competence in the gym, and that is what makes you feel confident. All right. Now, as I've already said before, I was doing all of these things in my life, yet underneath, deep down, I was still very insecure and low in confidence. And that is because of the fact that I was pretending to be a different person than what I really am. I wasn't expressing myself authentically. I wasn't being vulnerable. I wasn't being emotional. I wasn't being sensitive. And honestly, I was actually going to not turn up to today's training, but I thought that would be an injustice. I thought that would be unfair on you guys, my audience, the people that are supporting me, the people that I've told I'm going to be doing this training today last night. And I think that all comes back down to the fear of really fully expressing myself and being vulnerable on camera, being vulnerable to you guys, and just holding my hands up and saying, hey, I don't know it all. I don't have all the answers. I still feel scared at times. I still feel nervous. I've done tons of live videos, tons of recorded videos. I've done talks, presentations, yet still when I come to the actual part where I'm going to start addressing my audience and start talking about it, I still get nervous, and I think that some people believe that those of us that are online, that are influencers, and I wouldn't call myself an influencer because my platform isn't big enough yet, but I think that there is this assumption that we don't have any issues, that we don't have any problems, and that we're confident in our life all the time. And that's quite simply not true. It's not the case. So I want to be real, and I want to be vulnerable with you guys. And I want to share with you really what's helped me to start improving what I call self-confidence, self-esteem, self-worth, or self-love. Because this is an issue that, someone can have everything in their life. They can have the ideal partner, the best possible relationship you can think of. They can have the dream career, the dream business. They can have the best physique, they can have all of these things in their life externally, but they can still feel unhappy. They can still feel unfulfilled. And that is because of self-confidence. It is because of not having enough self-love. And unfortunately, this isn't something that we are taught how to do. It's not something that that we're given any knowledge on. Like, nobody ever asks us in school, hey, who are you, Jodine Bryson? Or who are you, whoever you are out there watching or listening to this training? What is your purpose in life? What are you here to do? What makes you unique? When do we ever get asked these questions? Like, you might have been asked these questions, but I'm pretty sure that the majority of people haven't. I know that I was never asked those questions, but I started asking myself those kind of questions from a young age. I spent a lot of time on my own as a child, which I'm not going to talk about too much today because it's not all about me. If you are interested in learning more about me, then go check out my personal YouTube channel. Just search Jodine Bryson. But yeah, so having that having that self-love, having that self-confidence isn't something that we're taught. So it's something that we have to learn. It's something that we have to explore, and that's what I've been doing for the past few years. So in today's training, in today's video, or on today's podcast, if you're listening on Spotify, I'm going to be talking to you about the 4 pillars of core confidence. Now, if you haven't switched off already, thank you so much for joining me. Please give this video a like. Let me know in the comments if confidence is something that has affected you in your life. And yeah, just generally let me know how you're doing. I really appreciate all of you out there that are watching or listening. It really, really does mean so much to me. Even just have one person listening or watching my videos. So let's get into it. The 4 pillars of core confidence. Now, I've already talked to you about why it's important. It's so important to have self-love, to have self-confidence, but most of us don't really know what it is. All right. And it's really about understanding that we have value. All right. That we have self-worth and we are worthy. Because if we don't believe that we are worthy on a fundamental level, then it's going to be very difficult for us to achieve things in life that are going to make us feel happy and feel fulfilled, because we're not going to believe that we deserve them. So we're going to put ourselves in situations where we get what we feel that we deserve, right? So if we want to achieve more in life, if we want to have more fulfillment in the things that we do, if we want people to love us more, to give us more attention, to show us more respect, whatever, we have to raise our levels of self-worth. All right. And the 4 pillars are going to help you to do that. So the first pillar of core confidence is purpose. Now, many people in life go through life as if they don't have any purpose. They're just pretty much winging it, right? And when we're winging it, when we haven't got any direction, when we haven't got any purpose, we become slaves to our emotions. We become slaves to external pressure and to external expectations. We become slaves to our opinions and to our views and to our beliefs. When we have a purpose, a life's purpose, and we truly understand what that purpose is, then you are operating at a completely different level to the majority of people, because what you're doing in your life is focused. It has direction. It has purpose. And so all the decisions that you're making in your life come into relation to your purpose. So you're deciding, is this going to help me to reach my purpose? Is this aligned with my purpose, or is this just a distraction? Is this going to stop me from reaching my purpose? And the reason that I'm sharing this with you, I'm not trying to say that I'm spiritually enlightened or awakened and that I'm at this level and you guys aren't. That isn't the purpose of the the purpose of this training. But what I am saying is that at times in my life, I have not been on purpose. Although I've always, well, from the age of 16, I really enjoyed coaching, and I'll get on to how to actually find your purpose in just a moment. But I really enjoyed coaching, and that's something that I've done for over 10 years. And although I've already always had like a pretty clear purpose on, as in terms of what I want to do in my life and what I want to achieve, it wasn't deep enough. It wasn't emotionally and spiritually deep enough for me to take action. Right. So the last 5 years, I've really been procrastinating on moving forward, procrastinating on my dreams, because fundamentally, I didn't actually believe that it was possible. And more onto that, I didn't believe that I deserved those dreams. And that comes back down to my past, my childhood, which I'm not going to go into today. But I'm sure there's all of you listening out there have had situations, circumstances. You've had difficulties in your life, in your past. Maybe your parents separated when you were young, or maybe you experienced some trauma or abuse or bullying, or failed, missed opportunities, or maybe you weren't shown the love and attention that you needed when you were young. Whatever it is, we all have our baggage from the past, and a lot of that stops us from moving forward into the future, and deciding on a purpose that's actually going to enrich our lives, and make us feel amazing, make us feel full of joy and full of happiness. And one of the ways to find more purpose in your life is to really discover your passion, because your passion will kind of drive you in a direction towards your purpose, even if you don't get there immediately. Like, obviously, as I was saying, for me, I've been coaching since the age of 16, but it's only like in the last kind of couple of months, I'd say, that I've really started to go hard on really what I'm trying to achieve in life. And a lot of that is because of fear. It's fear of moving forward. It's fear of rejection. It's fear of being judged. It's even fear of success, fear of not knowing what that's going to feel like. And I'm sure a lot of you can resonate with me. If you can, then smash that like button on this video. Let me know in the comments if that resonates with you. So we don't move forward because we are afraid. All right. But if we have that passion and we keep working on that passion, we devote time, energy towards that passion, then eventually we're going to feel like we're in a place where we trust that thing. All right. And I trust my ability to coach because it's something that I have done for over 10 years in my life. All right. I trust my ability to show up and do a live training for all of you guys because I've done this many, many times before. And although I've never done it on this sort of level, streaming it to, multiple different places, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, if you're listening on Spotify, although I haven't done it on that sort of level, I've done a lot of this stuff in the past. And ultimately I know that this is just one step forward. It's one step closer towards where I want to be in life, which is someone who is consistently providing value for my audience and helping you guys to improve your confidence and well-being, because it's something that's affected me so much and something that I know I can help all of you guys with as well. So finding your passion, exploring your passion is so important. And if you don't really know what your passion is yet, then you have plenty of time to discover what it is that you like doing. Think about what you enjoyed doing when you were a child. Think about what your traits are, what your natural tendencies are, what you're drawn to. Like if you're quite a creative person, then maybe you might want to try stuff like art. You might want to try stuff like design. Um, that can lead to lots of different things. There's lots of things that involve those things, and you just got to devote your time to exploring those things. Now, don't get me wrong. Like I know that a lot of you guys out there, you'll be working 9 to 5 jobs. Maybe you'll be working even more than that, and maybe you feel like you don't have the time to divert to your passion. But what I can tell you is that if you don't divert time to your passion, that you'll never find your purpose. And if you don't ever find your purpose, then your experience in this life is going to be at best like good. It's never going to be great or extraordinary without a purpose, because you need your purpose to have a sense of fulfillment, and ultimately happiness too. So that was the first pillar of core confidence. Let me know in the comment section below if you feel like you have a purpose. I'd love to know what you feel your purpose is in life. I always enjoy hearing and seeing other people achieve their dreams, achieve their success, and that's really what's kind of motivated me to keep going on this journey, is seeing other people that are in similar positions to me, online, teaching or coaching or just sharing great content. That's something that I've always looked up to, something I've always wanted to do. And just by focusing on those people, that's encouraged me to do the same. So with the same applies for you guys. I really want to hear your what your dreams are, what you feel your purpose is. Okay, so the second pillar of core confidence is principles, right? So we all want to believe that we are a good person, and being a good person is something that's obviously highly regarded in today's society. If you aren't a good person, if you aren't someone who people like, people think is a nice, kind person, then you're going to get demonized in today's society. Even though we know that there are a lot of people that aren't actually good people, and I use the term good in quote unquote, because for me there is literally no person who is completely good and no person who is completely bad. But when I say there are a lot of people that aren't good people, I mean that they're selfish. They act on their own self-interest, and they make decisions that affect a lot of people negatively, and don't care. And there's quite a few people in the world that are like that, um, and they get demonized, quite rightly so, when they come across this way. But a lot of people are secretly like this, We pretend all to be very good, to be very nice, to be very kind, but a lot of us, including myself, are judging. We are judging on the background. We're judging other people. A good example today was I was at the gym and I was looking at this guy, and he was quite skinny, and I was thinking, oh, I'm bigger than this guy. Like I've got more muscle. And we all do this, whether we're doing it on a conscious or subconscious level. We're always judging. We're always comparing ourselves to other people and comparing whether we are better or worse than them, and where we fit in the hierarchy. And that's something that we're taught to do because human beings, we're very competitive. All right, that's how we have built this society, is based on competition. And competition, there is incentive, there is reward for being first. There are rewards for being the best at things, right? So if I'm not the best confidence coach out there, or if I'm not one of the best, then I won't get the rewards as someone, compared to someone who's not one of the best, right? Now, I mean that on a very general term, because now we've changed to in certain roles, in certain industries. Yeah, it's about your popularity, especially on social media. So you can be an influencer and not really know what the hell you're on about, but you can still get the rewards. That you want in your life. You can still get the likes, you can still get the comments, you can still get the money, you can still get the customers, but you might not necessarily be very good at what you do. Now, I digress a little bit there, but the point that I was trying to make there is that we have this idea that we have to be good, to be kind, to be nice. And a lot of the time it isn't authentic. So if we are judging people behind closed doors, in our mind we are judging people, but we're being nice, we're being kind to their face, then that obviously isn't very authentic. And as I said, the second pillar of core confidence is principles. So if you're wanting to improve your confidence, you have to really start being honest with yourself about the way that you're showing up in the world. Are you being honest with yourself? Honest about the things that you want in your life? Are you taking action? Are you working towards those things, or are you procrastinating like I was? Do you actually care about people? Are you showing that you care about people? Or, are you just in fact expressing that you care about people, but showing something completely different? Right? Are you being empathetic towards people? Are you actually engaging yourself? Are you listening? Are you trying to understand how they feel? Or, are you actually kind of, saying that you're listening, but you're not really listening? You're listening to respond. You're listening to give advice, and you're actually trying to shut down their emotions. Now, there are 7 or 8 key principles that I talk about in my ebook, which you can go and download at www.strongmindedcoaching.com. And a few of those are empathy, compassion, honesty, integrity, responsibility. There are a few things that should really guide our life, guide the way that we are living our life. And when that pillar is strong, when it is when it is stable, what it means is that we show up, we take action, even when it's uncomfortable. Like I've said tonight, I didn't really feel into it tonight. I had a bit of a tough day. I was crying a little bit earlier. And one of my biggest flaws, one of my biggest downfalls in life has been allowing myself to give up, right? To make excuses, to not show up when I need to. And because of that, that reduces the ability of other people, my audience, my clients, my family, my friends, to trust me. I don't know if any of you guys can resonate at all with that, right? But we all do it, we all make mistakes, but it's about holding ourselves to a higher standard. Remember, a higher standard of ourselves increases our self-worth, increases what we're going to get on the outside, not only in terms of materialism, like girlfriend or boyfriend or physique or finances, but also our fulfillment, how we're seeing those things. All right, so that is the second pillar of core confidence, is to develop those principles and make sure that you stick to those principles within your life. Now, the third pillar of core confidence is personality. If you're still with me, guys, if you're watching, give this video a like, comment down below what you found valuable so far. So yeah, the third pillar of core confidence is personality. Now, many of us get stuck in an identity, in a personality, based upon who we were as children, right? So for me, I was always, not always, but I spent a lot of time alone when I was a child. So you would have thought that I would be quite reserved, quite shy. And there are elements to my personality that, yes, they are like that. But when I would go to school, I was actually quite popular. I was actually quite sociable. And that's because I was, I was chucked into environments where I had to be quite social from an early age. But in the background, I was actually quite shy. I'm actually quite a shy, reserved person when you get to know me. Even though I'm always showing up on camera, doing YouTube videos, doing this, that, and the other, when it comes to actually letting people into my heart, showing people how I actually feel, being proactive in showing people, that I care and stuff like that, I'm actually quite shy. I'm quite reserved, and that is because I spent a lot of time on my own as a child. So I guess, guys, for you, you got to think back to your childhood and what you were like as a child, and think about, is my personality much different from what I was like when I was a child, or is it pretty much the same? Now, because I was forced into social situations from an early age, when I was actually quite shy and quite quiet, it meant that I developed a dual personality, let's say. And I'm actually a Gemini. So I don't know if you guys are into astrology or at all, but it's basically the twins. So on one side, on one twin, you have someone who's very sociable, very extroverted, very expressive, very creative. And then you have the other twin, which is very introverted, very analytical, very rational, sometimes a bit cold, and very, uh, spends a lot of time alone. Now, I have both of these things within my personality, whether it's because of my experience as a child, or whether it's because of my star sign, or whatever. For me, I've always had that experience of having a very diverse personality, right? Because I had to adapt as a child. I had to adapt to fit in. I had to adapt because that was, what was required of me in the situation. And I think that really goes back to the fact that as a child, I believed that I had to be perfect. I believed that I couldn't make any mistakes. And I wanted to be good. I wanted to be perfect. I was always very driven. Um, And the way that I was raised was to always try to reach high standards, and sometimes those standards have been too high. Sometimes they have been impossible for me to meet. But what that what that can do is that it can force you to try to be perfect in your life, and there is no such thing as perfect. All right, we all know that from a conscious level, but subconsciously we can avoid doing things because we don't want to appear to not be perfect, appear to not know what we're doing. And that is the reason why a lot of us don't try new things. We don't explore new opportunities, new avenues, because we're worried that we're not going to excel in that thing. We're not going to know what we're doing. We're not going to be competent, and we're not going to be confident. All right. But what is so important for us to realize is that life is a journey of learning. All right. And if we embrace that mindset where we just throw ourselves into things that are going to help us to broaden our mind in some way, or going to broaden our identity, that can be so powerful. So for me, I've done lots of different jobs, employed jobs since the age of 16. I've worked in cafes, I've worked in restaurants, I've worked in bars, I've worked doing sales, I've worked in schools, I've worked as a swimming teacher, I've worked as a football coach, I've worked online doing mindset coaching, I've done network marketing. The list goes on in terms of things that I've done to make money. I've also lived in different places. I've lived in Birmingham, I've lived in Loughborough, I've lived in Cambridge, I've lived in Malaga, Spain. And a lot of that goes back to the fact that I traveled a lot as a child. I went abroad quite a lot, and I'm very lucky. I'm very blessed that my parents were able to afford to do that. But what it did for me is it gave me an experience of being in a different culture, in a different environment, where you have to step into a different part of yourself. And all of these parts exist already within us. All right. It's about exploring, it's about finding those parts, and it's about developing those parts through different opportunities, through being in different environments, through trying new skills, through trying new activities. And a lot of it goes back to the idea that we have a personality or an identity, something that's set in stone, and a big factor on that is gender. Okay, a lot of things are deemed to be masculine or feminine. So if you go and do ballet, for example, then the stereotype is that, and this is if you're a guy, the stereotype is that you're gay, or you're very feminine, or all of these kind of stereotypes around doing certain things, certain activities, can sometimes put us off if we don't have much confidence, and if we don't have the right social support. And a lot of it, as I've said already, goes back to our parenting. It goes back to what our father was like and what our mother was like. Now, this probably doesn't surprise you, but I've had quite a, I would say, masculine mother, and quite a feminine father. Now, that doesn't mean that my dad isn't masculine. He is masculine, right? And it doesn't mean that my mother isn't feminine, right? But stereotypically, some of the things that they do, like my dad is very much into art, he's very much into cooking, whereas my mum is very much into football, she's into sport, she's into tennis, and the stereotype of what the mum does and what the dad does didn't really exist in my household. And that was really the model for me to go out into the world and to not feel like I have to do a certain thing to be accepted or to get validation. And that's actually been quite a big problem for me in my life, because I am so diverse, because I can try my hand at anything pretty much, and a lot of people see that, and they think, oh, this guy, he must be so confident, right? And it was so agonizing because they didn't know that I had no self-love, I had no self-worth, no self-respect. And whilst I was appearing to be very confident on the outside, I actually didn't have very much confidence on the inside. And that's the important thing to remember. So when you look at other people, when you compare yourselves to other people and what they're doing in their lives, you have to remember that you don't have a fucking clue what's going on inside of their minds. They might be miserable, they might be depressed, they might be dealing with really hard stuff that you're not necessarily dealing with, right? And I think that's such an important thing to realize and to remember, because we're all human beings, we all have value, and it's just about stepping out of your comfort zone and trying new things. And thank God we're living now in a society where we're breaking down these stereotypes. We've got big movements that, like, I sometimes bash the LGBTQT movement. I'm not going to go into why, but I think they're doing great jobs in terms of breaking down the barriers, breaking down the stigma of being gay, and that becoming more socially acceptable. The same kind of thing when it comes to Black Lives Matter, and white people fighting for equality and fairness when it comes to how Black people are treated. I think all of these things are awesome and amazing because it brings us together as people, and it helps us to realize that yes, I can be feminine one minute, I can be sensitive, I can be emotional, I can be vulnerable, but the next minute I can be tough, I can be strong, I can be aggressive, even I can be competitive. We don't have to try to fit in, we don't have to align to a certain stereotype of how we believe that we need to act, right? And I think that's an amazing and awesome thing. So the more that you explore that, the more things that you do in your life that are going to help you to broaden your personality, the better. With that being said, guys, I think it's also really important to know your fundamental personality, the things that bring you value into your life, and what makes you unique, what makes you stand out from other people in the crowd. So for me, I would say that I'm fundamentally, like, I'm a sensitive person. I'm very kind. Um, I can be. I can. I'm very driven and very ambitious, and that sometimes can come across as a little bit narcissistic. Um, um, so I have my good qualities. Guys, I want you to think about 5 qualities that you possess, and share them in the comment section below. If you're listening on Spotify, obviously you can't do that, but think of five key traits you think that you hold, and then think about how those traits might lead into negativity. So let's give an example. So for me, I'm an extremely kind person. My family, my friends will know this, but I can also be so kind to the point where I'm not honest with people because I don't want to hurt their feelings, or I can get sick of people. I can disconnect. I can push them away because I'm sensitive, and because it hurts sometimes the way that people treat me, whether they're doing it on a then most of the time, most people, they're not trying to hurt you. They're just living their life, they're doing the best thing they can do. But I'm very sensitive and I can get hurt very easily. So Sometimes I can pretend to be tough when actually, I'm hurting. And, um, we go back to the facts that I've already said today. It was like I had quite a tough day. It was quite a bad day, but I still wanted to show up to you guys, and provide value for you. So it's not like I'm preaching to you guys how to be confident because I'm already at the peak, right? This is stuff that I'm working on constantly. It's stuff that I'm working on right now. I'm working through with all of you guys. So yeah, think about 5 traits that define you as a person. Think about how they might become downfalls if you don't, if they're not balanced, and just be conscious of that inside your life. Be conscious of when you're, um, being, let's say, too kind, and you're allowing yourself to become a pushover. When you need to stand up for yourself and be honest. When you need to show people empathy and show people compassion. Just be aware of those things. So the fourth pillar of core confidence is perspective. Okay, now you're all watching this video, or you're listening to it on Spotify, and you're listening or you're watching through a device. You're watching it through whatever device that you're that you're holding on your hand or you're watching from. Now, even to be in this position where you have this device already is a privilege, right? But to have access to this kind of content, um, and I'm not saying my content is amazing or anything like that, but the fact that you have decided to come and have a look at this content means that you're interested in self-help. It means that you're interested in personal development. And because of that, you are already in a privileged position, because the majority of people never make it this far. They will never make it towards listening or watching this kind of content and improving their lives. So I want you to know that. I want you to really to gather a sense of gratitude that you are here, that you are learning about this sort of stuff, even if it is uncomfortable, even if it brings up uncomfortable emotions for you. You are in this position, and you're in a position that the majority of people wouldn't be in. So I want you to give yourself a little bit of a pat on the back, but I also want you uh, to remember how lucky you are, for the fact that you are here. And I think this is really important because you know we're all on social media, and regardless of how much time you spend on social media, you're going to see a lot of stuff popping up that's going to make you feel inadequate, that's going to make you feel like you're not enough. Whether you're on Instagram and you're seeing all these amazing photos from people that seem to be living epic lives, or whether it is you're scrolling through Facebook and you keep getting pop-ups, people that are paying for ads that are saying, "Yeah, I've made $1 million this year, and I can help you to do the same." You know what I'm talking about, guys. I don't need to explain it too much. But being on social media, it makes us compare ourselves to other people all the time, and it forces us to feel like we are lacking something in our life. And it causes us to keep searching for more external gratification, more validation. It sends us away from our heart, from our soul, and from developing our self-worth, and sends us towards ego. So we constantly feel like we need to have a better body, have a better business, finances, have a better relationship. And the thing is that if we're constantly searching outside of ourselves for confidence, for happiness, for fulfillment, we're never going to find it, because the ego is never full. It's never satisfied. It always, always, always wants more. And that's why I've decided to to really go on a social media detox, to spend at least 30 days just not going on Facebook, not going on Instagram, not going on TikTok and YouTube and checking how many likes I'm getting and comments and all the rest of it, and just focusing on other aspects of my life, focusing on my social life and building building connections, or focusing on my website and getting some great content onto there, or focusing on reading. You know, we've all been blessed in a certain way. Even if you haven't enjoyed the pandemic, the lockdown period, I'm sure many of you have struggled just as I have. But we have been blessed with the fact that we've had a lot of time to spend on our own, a lot of time spending reflecting and being introspective. And I feel like that is such a blessing, because I've definitely learned stuff in the past few months that I might not have learned if I wasn't in this position. I might not even be doing this live training for you all today, guys, if the pandemic lockdown hadn't happened. So with that being said, I think it's really important that we keep reflecting, we keep learning, we keep being introspective, and obviously it's a balance. You know, it's not necessarily healthy to spend all of your time all day ruminating. You know, there are things that practically we need to do to live our life. You know, we do need to go to work and make a living. We do need to look after our physical health. You know, we do need to feed ourselves. We can't just be sitting there all day like the Buddha. Well, we could be, if you're in Tibet and you're listening or watching to this. Shout out to you guys out there if you are meditating all day, and that, I think that would be awesome as well. But the majority of people, obviously, guys, the majority of us are living in a Western society where you're not really going to be able to function if you're meditating all day. So this brings me back to what I was saying about the fact I'm going on a social media detox, and the reason that I've decided to do that is because for the last 5 years I've put a lot of content out there. I've got to the point where I just I felt like I'm doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. Even though, you know, I've made changes, I've started like doing YouTube and various other things. You know, a part of me just thought that, you know, me showing up today didn't really matter. That even if I had a few people watching, it wouldn't really make any difference to my business. But then, you know, ultimately I decided to show up and give value, because I think it's really important that you follow through on your promises and what you say that you're going to do. But, you know, I was thinking that I was just going to put out a video saying, hey guys, look, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to do the training today. I'm coming off social media for 30 days to look after my mental health. But then I thought, why not do both? You know, don't give in to your excuses. Don't give in to your fear. You know, I didn't feel amazingly confident about the training that I was going to deliver today. But, you know, we're not always going to feel that amazing. We're not always going to feel that confident. And it's kind of just by showing up sometimes and learning how you can improve things. You know, you don't learn if you don't do the thing, right? But yeah, I will be taking some time off social media, just to work on myself, to work on other areas of my life. And, you know, I'd highly recommend, guys, that you think about your usage of social media and whether it brings value to your life or whether it makes your life worse. Because for me, makes me have so much more anxiety, so much more social anxiety. Um, so recently I've been putting out a lot of YouTube content, and I've been posting my videos in lots of different Facebook communities, and I've been receiving quite a lot of criticism, quite a lot of abuse. Um, those of you that follow me on Instagram, if you don't already, in my my tag is @strongmindedjoe. I post a lot of topless photos on there, shirtless photos, and I do that to inspire people, to motivate people. Obviously, sometimes it is nice to to receive the attention as well. I'm not going to lie, but I also get a lot of un um, undesired attention, sexual attention, mainly from guys, but also sometimes from women too. And I get this on my Facebook, I get this on my Instagram, and that can be tough because you don't want it, right? And some of you out there, you might think that it's, that um, I should be grateful, and to a certain extent, I am. But it can also get a little bit annoying, and when you're getting it all the time, time after time after time, it does start to, drain you and your energy. Another reason why I wanted to come off social media is because I get a lot of messages every single day from lots of people who want to reach out. They want to become friends with me, and I find it difficult because I genuinely, I love people. I care about people. I want to be friends with everyone. I would love to do that, but my energy does not allow that. I can't give 100% to thousands and thousands of people. It's just not realistic. It's not possible. And so when people come onto my Facebook Messenger, for example, and I don't know them personally, I've never met them in my entire life, and they're wanting to build a friendship with me, that can be quite difficult, because I don't want to turn this person away. I don't want to be a dick, but at the same time, I can't really invest in a friendship, invest energy into that right now, and also it's I don't really find so much value in online relationships, even though I've got a few good friends who I have met online. Shout out to any of you guys if you are listening or watching. But on the whole, I much prefer to spend time with people in person. I'm not the biggest of talkers, as I already said in this training. I'm quite a shy, reserved person, and I much prefer being active. I much prefer doing things with people, and being in social environments with people. I don't really like too much one on one pressure. A lot of the time, I feel like that leads into me doing coaching or being the therapist, and put me into a position that I don't really want to be in. So that's a little bit of a rationale, a reason as to why I'm going to be spending less time online. Um, but that wraps up the training, and that wraps up the fourth pillar of core confidence, which was to have perspective. And obviously, the reason I was talking about social media is because it can warp our perception of reality. It can make us feel like we need to be better than what we are. It makes us feel like we're inadequate when actually there is a lot of stuff in our life that we can be grateful for. Remember, I brought you back to the fact that you were holding a device, that you're on this training. It's all about having gratitude, and in our life, we need to be conscious. We need to be consciously aware of the things that are making us feel inadequate and not enough, versus the things that are building us up, making us feel better about ourselves, making us feel loved, and making us feel worthy. Now, I'm so grateful for any of you guys out there who stuck around to watch to the end of this training. I'd love to know in the comments section, if you're on YouTube or on Facebook, what you found to be particularly valuable. I look forward to bringing you some podcast episodes with guests in the next couple of weeks. I will be posting these onto YouTube and onto Facebook as well. Even though I said I'm going on a detox, I will still be um, posting some content. But that's all from me, guys. Thank you for watching or listening. And Just to let you know, guys, that I have a 4-week confidence course that is now available to purchase on my website. It's on offer right now for $200. And what it involves is going through each of these pillars and seeing how it relates to you and your life. Now, I know that I've talked quite a lot about myself and my own life. Obviously, I don't know you guys watching. You all have, or listening, you all have a different story, different experiences, and you have different desires, different goals, and the rest of it. So, as much as learning on a training or listening to podcasts or reading books is really great, there's nothing quite like sitting across from someone and actually having them help you and make their their advice, their guidance very specific to you and your problems and your situation. So if that sounds like someone, if that sounds like you, if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, if you're wanting to improve your self-confidence, then go visit my website or get into contact with me on Facebook. I will be responding to messages, um, whenever I log into Facebook through my through my laptop, or send me a WhatsApp message. Some of you, I will leave my WhatsApp number for you guys in the Brotherhood that are watching this training. But for all the rest of you guys, thank you for watching. Hope you have an amazing day. This was the Strong Minded Podcast with Jodine Bryson, and I look forward to speaking to you all very soon. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you all. Leave a like on this button, on this video, and I look forward to seeing you all soon. That's all from me, guys. Leave a like, comment down below. Let me know what you thought about this training. And yeah, I'll speak to you all soon.